Greetings, I am Ms. A. M. Lapa, and in this video I am going to explain my thematic mapping plan, which basically focuses on grade 3, on a topic in grade 3, which is pollution. So for week 1, on a Monday, we are going to focus on numbers in operations and relationships. So here, we are going to focus on number symbols, number names. So identify, recognize, and read number symbols. So I will have learners identify and recognize number symbols by counting different types of pollution items, such as plastic bags, bottles, etc. So this will be displayed on a projector, as well as pictures of these items with their number name and number symbol. And I will also focus on reading and phonics, right? So shared reading, recognize silent letters in words, and then we'll also read a story called Bye Bye Plastic Bags, so which basically focuses on littering and pollution. So a discussion about this will be done, about the main idea, characters, and the plot. And then on a Tuesday, we'll focus on beginning knowledge and personal well-being. This is where I introduce this is where I bring in what is pollution. I'll explain the definition of pollution to my learners, and then we'll also do the different types of pollution, which is air, water, land, and noise pollution, right? And then in mathematics, I'll focus on measurement, that is telling time. I'll create a timeline showing learners the history of pollution events, right? And then we'll also do English, which will basically focus on handwriting. So learners, they copies written text from the board, textbooks, work cards, correctly paying attention to the correct letter formation. So learners will copy down information about the different types of pollution, definition of each, and what causes it. And then on a Wednesday, we'll focus on space and shape, whereby position and views, read, interpret, and draw informal maps or top view of collection of objects. So mapping pollution, learners will have to draw an informal map showing the location of pollution sources in their communities, right? And then in English, we'll focus on listening and speaking. This is whereby learners make an oral presentation, so tells news or talks about an experience whereby they encountered pollution in their environment, right? On a Thursday, we'll focus on physical education. That is locomotor, so hopping over a distance, carrying something, and holding hands with a partner. Learners will be given plastic bin bags to carry. Different types of dirt will be placed on the floor, and they will have to pick it up, put it in the bin bag while they hop over a distance, carrying a bin bag and holding hands with a partner. And then I'll also focus on, in mathematics, patterns, functions, and algebra, whereby here learners copy, extend, and describe simple patterns made with physical objects, specifically objects that can cause land and water pollution, such as cans, plastic bags. And then on Friday, we'll basically do we'll focus on maths, which is data handling, whereby on Friday we'll focus on data handling, whereby we collect and organize data. So in mathematics, that is, we'll rearrange data provided in a list or a tally table, or table in a bar graph. Learners will be provided with data about the analysis of data on environmental pollution control by different materials, agricultural production pollution, etc. And then we'll focus on creative. And then I'll also focus on creative arts, that is creating 3D craft from recyclable materials. Right, so create 3D craft from recyclable material. Learners will create artworks from recycled material to raise awareness about pollution and recycling around the school. Learners will be provided with the materials such as the bottles, the cans, and to use for their projects. Right, so this is basically my mapping plan for week 1, focus in integrating mathematics, life skills, and English. So continuing, right, so for week 2, we are basically still doing the same topic, which is pollution. So for week 2, I'm going to change it a bit. On a Monday, we are going to focus on life skills, which is beginning knowledge and personal well-being. So that is the effects of pollution on people, and then also the effects of pollution on the environment. We are also going to focus on measurement, right? Calculate length of time and passing of time, converting between weeks and months. I'll create a timeline showing learners the history. So basically what we did in the previous week. So here now we are going to look at the length of it happening and how long it affected people in the environment, right? So by basically converting weeks to months. And then we are also going to do handwriting, right? So whereby learners write drafts, so they drafts, write, edits, and present own story. Learners will be asked to write their own story, is whereby they encountered pollution and how it affected the people and the environment, right? And then yeah, on a Tuesday, we are going to do numbers, operations, and relationships, right? So give a reasonable estimate of a number of objects that can be checked by counting. So learners should provide an estimate of a number of objects that will be checked by counting. They will be placed in groups and will be asked to estimate the number of specific types of polluted objects, such as plastic bags, cans. So compare and discuss the reasoning behind the estimation. And then we are also going to focus on reading and phonics, right? So there's shared reading. So isn't the previous week we did a story named Bye Bye Plastic Bags, right? So here they're going to express whether the story was liked or is able to whether they like the story, and they must be able to justify. So we'll therefore have a discussion whereby learners state what they liked about the story. For example, I love this story because it reminded me of, right? And then on a Wednesday, we are basically going to focus on space and shape, just like the previous week. Position, so here they are going to find objects on the map, the map that the learners drew, the informal map. They are going to find objects on the map. Learners will be asked to find those sources of pollution in their community on their maps, right? And then we are going to do a listening and speaking. Suggest solutions to a problem. Learners will be asked to suggest solutions on how they can protect people and the environment from the bad effects of pollution. And Friday we are going to do Thursday, we are going to focus on physical education, spatial awareness, games such as 3 against 1. So during our PE lesson, we'll play the game whereby some learners will be team pollution, consisting of 3 players, and team environment, 1 player. Pollution team's goal is to tag the environment team within a specific limit time, symbolizing the negative effect of pollution on the environment, whereas team environment should avoid being tagged and reach a designated safe area. And then we are going to focus on patterns, functions, and algebra in mathematics. So here, create and describe pattern. Create own geometric pattern with physical objects. Learners will be provided with graph paper to do the geometric patterns. They will be encouraged to explore different shapes, colors, and arrangements to present pollution and its effects, right? And then on a Friday, we are going to do data handling in mathematics. That is, represent data on bar graph and answer questions about the data on the bar graph. Since the previous week, we basically reorganized the data on in either a tally table or a bar graph. So this week will be representing the data on a bar graph and answer questions about the data on the graph. So learners will be provided with data from the previous week. So that's what we are going to do in mathematics on a Friday. And then we are also going to do creative arts. So we'll also do creative arts, performing arts, that is classroom dramas illustrate different characters through vocal and physical characterization. Learners will be called out in groups to perform. They will be identified as different characters such as a concerned citizen, a factory worker, environmental activist, a polluted river, and a dying tree. They will be given what to say. Also, a stage setting that represents a smoky industrial area, littered park, or a dried up river. Right. That is for week 2. And this will basically cover the whole of the topic of pollution in the